Welcome back to Xbox Corner, my name's Luke, and today on the channel we're going to be taking a look at Way of the Hunter, the latest hunting sim from 9 Rock Games and THQ Nordic, which drops you into 55 square miles of wilderness, tools you up with a selection of licensed firearms, and tasks you with tracking, targeting and taking down members of the local animal population. Now, if you've previously played Hunter Call of the Wild, you might be wondering how this one compares, so be sure to drop a like and sub if you enjoyed this video and are looking for more Xbox related content, and let's find out. So story-wise then, the plotline in Way of the Hunter essentially sees you returning to your grandfather's hunting lodge and picking up where he left off, as you reconnect with old acquaintances, take on jobs for his old clients and basically follow in his footsteps. And throughout the 10 or so hours I spent playing, I didn't really get to experience a huge amount of the story for reasons which will soon become apparent, but of what I did it seemed like pretty engaging stuff. It touches on the moralities of ethical hunting and how times and people change, and there's also a backstory which goes alongside this which sheds some light on your character's past and the struggles of a family hunting business. Presentation wise, there's a reasonable amount of text to be read in this one, but we also get some decent voice acting and comic book style cutscenes to enjoy, featuring some nice artwork. However, for some reason these are completely silent and automatically progress at a rapid pace, making the text a bit of a challenge to keep up with. But overall it's pretty decent stuff. And when you're first starting out with the game, I definitely recommend following the storyline missions, as these also kind of act as a tutorial and more of a structured introduction to the game's mechanics. So if like me you've come from playing Hunter Call of the Wild, I'll start by saying that Way of the Hunter definitely felt a little less casual in terms of its mechanics, and again aims to provide more of a hardcore hunting experience, but I do remember having an easier time with Call of the Wild when it came to actually finding and taking down the animals. It wasn't uncommon in this game for me to spend upwards of 30 minutes just locating a target, so if you're expecting to just jump in, grab a gun and snag yourself a couple of trophy kills, this likely won't be the game for you. It's all about patience and persistence, and doing almost anything in the game takes a reasonable amount of time. Now, the base game comes with 2 areas for you to explore, each offering 55 square miles of terrain, and due to me playing through the story I spent most of my time hunting in Nez Perce Valley, but each of them offers their own unique biomes and animal varieties for you to hunt. While you're completely free to head out with any kind of guidance or structure, I highly recommend working through the story to start with, as this not only teaches you the basics, it also opens up opportunities for additional jobs and side quests from which to earn some extra cash, and you're definitely going to need plenty of this to purchase new equipment as well as new permits to hunt in other regions of the map. And there is some decent variety to these missions, with each of them giving you certain criteria to adhere to, such as killing deer without damaging the hearts or harvesting pheasants above a certain weight. And aside from the hunting missions, you'll also have story missions which introduce new characters and backstories. Now, when it comes to the gameplay mechanics, like I said, this is a hardcore hunting experience, and the core dynamics can be broken down into 2 phases, the first being the tracking and locating phase, and the second actually taking down your target. Of the 2 though, actually finding the animals you're hunting is a lot more involved, requiring you to use your hunter vision to identify the signs, such as footprints, dropping and urine, and it essentially involves building a picture of their natural habits and need zones, including where they like to eat, sleep and drink. All of the signs that you identify though are then plotted onto the map for future reference, and each animal also comes with its own encyclopedia entry displaying detailed information about them, as well as the times of day at which they usually partake in the aforementioned habits. Once you have enough info on your designated target though, then comes the hunting side of things, and while you are just able to wander around the wilderness and will eventually stumble upon a herd of deer or flock of geese, you'll definitely find much more consistency by heading to a need zone at the specified time and then waiting for them to appear. Now, depending on the animal you're hunting, you're going to want to ensure you've got the correct calibre of weapon to handle them. For instance, you don't want to obliterate a duck with a high-powered rifle or try and hunt a moose with a 12-gauge shotgun. But the in-game shop offers firearms to cater for all your hunting needs, and you're able to carry 2 weapons with you at a time, as well as some binoculars to identify distances and animal callers to grab their attention. Being a realistic simulator though, there is a lot of different things to consider before taking the shot. It's important that you pay heed to the wind direction as well as the way you're moving, as if they happen to hear, smell or see you, they'll just do a runner and then you'll have to start all over again. And the game also features realistic bullet ballistics, so you really need to target the vital organs of the animals to ensure you get the kill on them. More often than not though, they won't go down instantly, and you'll usually have to track the blood splatters to find and harvest the body, at which point you can then either sell them for cold hard cash, or alternatively taxidermy them and then display them as a trophy in your cabin. Now, if I'm being honest, to start with I found the hunting mechanics to be a little frustrating. Like I said, it often took me upwards of 30 minutes to locate a single deer, and I frequently ended up scaring them off or screwing up my shots by not hitting vitals, leading to them limping off into the brush never to be seen again. But once I actually understood how the life cycle and need zone mechanics worked, I had much more luck and was able to drastically reduce the amount of time it took to score a kill. What I will say though is that it's really not a quick process, it's one that needs to be repeated each time you encounter a new species, and there are certain things which make it much more tedious than it needs to be. For instance, it's all well and good having the need zones appearing on the map, but you have to actually head into the encyclopedia and to the animal's entry to cross-reference the timings for them. Simple things like the time of day only appears when the menu is open, and other than campfires and lodges, there's no actual way of passing time quickly, so you can just end up sat there waiting idly for 10 minutes before an animal shows up. The sheer scale of the game also presents a few different issues, namely with getting from A to B, as although there are a few quick travel points dotted about the place, these are few and far between, and you can only actually access your vehicle from the lodges, meaning that if you travel to a campfire you're stuck moving on foot. The vehicles themselves though really aren't much better. They have almost no weight to them, so hitting obstructions will literally stop them dead. Their acceleration frequently drops off for no apparent reason, and hitting any kind of hill with them will see them slow to a crawl. So in short, traversing this massive world ends up being a complete slog, and you'll probably spend about 80% of your time doing so just bear this in mind if patience isn't your strong suit. When all's said and done though, despite the issues that I mentioned, I still enjoyed my time with Way of the Hunter, and I felt the developers did a great job of building a realistic feeling world, as well as deep hunting mechanics which take into account everything from the weather and time of day, to the wind direction and the way that you move and position yourself. Personally, I was expecting it to be a little bit more casual than it was, but I appreciated the attention to detail with its mechanics, and I know that there are people out there who will absolutely love how granular they are. Whether or not it's as successful as a game as Call of the Wild is yet to be seen, but it's worth noting that Way of the Hunter also has a multiplayer mode, and despite me not being able to test it out prior to the game's release, for me this was definitely the most fun way to play Call of the Wild, and it will hopefully offer the same level of enjoyment with this one. So Way of the Hunter is exclusive to PC and next-gen platforms, and looking at the scale of its world and the amount of detail packed into it, you can definitely see why. The game's landscape and environments look fantastic, as do its animals in both their appearance and animations, but despite this there are still a few issues. Firstly, the frame rate is a little unstable at times, though the game does come with both performance and quality modes, which does go some way to remedying this. There are also a few UI bugs and graphical glitches, which I expect will be fixed in an upcoming patch. But the biggest problem at the moment is definitely with texture popping, which is especially noticeable whilst driving and entering new zones, and for me this did break some of the immersion of the experience. Overall though, I'd say they've done a decent job of the visuals in this one. The world feels alive and vibrant, there are some wonderfully picturesque scenes for you to enjoy, and apart from perhaps your own character model, all round it's a pretty good looking game. So on the audio side of things, I'd say the ambience of the environments and the sound effects are definitely a standout feature of this one, and like the attention to detail given to the visuals, they really help build a realistic feeling environment for you to explore, and I also like the way that the audio was implemented into the hunter's vision to help you track down animals via the sounds they make. The quality of the game's voice acting is also very good, but unfortunately I can't comment on the soundtrack as it appeared to be broken in this pre-release build, but hopefully this will be fixed on release and there'll be no more silent comic strips. Overall though, pretty good stuff. So of course, I'm not going to be rating this one as 10 hours worth of gameplay is really a drop in the ocean when it comes to the scale of the game, but gameplay wise, it definitely achieves what it sets out to do, and that is to provide a deep, true-to-life hunting experience which rewards patience and persistence and pretty much nails it in terms of realism. Understandably, its granular nature isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea, but there is definitely a lot of content to be had here for fans of the genre, with plenty of trophies and perks to unlock, a diverse range of animals to hunt, and an engaging storyline to boot. I do think that the game could do with a few quality of life improvements, especially when it comes to traversing its vast and beautiful landscapes, but if you're looking for a hunting sim to rival Call of the Wild, then I'd definitely say you'll find it here, and Way of the Hunter is set to release on August 16th on both the Series X, the Series S and PC. And so that just about does it for this one. So are you a fan of realistic hunting sims, and are you going to be getting in on the action with this one? Or do you prefer more casual arcade style hunters? Let us know down in the comments section below. As always though, be sure to drop us a like if this video helped you out, and if you're looking for more reviews and overviews like this, as well as deals, graphical comparisons and Game Pass content, then consider subscribing to the channel. For now though, as always, thanks once again for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks everyone, take care.